Hey folks, this is Doug. In this video, I'm going to be demoing an app that I created for the iPhone and iPod Touch that is titled Stack'em. And I'm doing this demo on the iPhone simulator on my computer, which is why you see this mouse running around. But when you download it and put it on your iPhone or iPod Touch, it will look exactly like this. First off, I want to point out in the upper left-hand portion of the screen, there's this How to Play button. If you tap on that, it'll bring up some text that explains to you all the details of how the game works, which is just what I'm going to be showing you in this video as well. So here's how it works. You got these three blocks down here on the bottom, and each of these blocks has a number in them. And you cannot move these blocks or change the numbers. But what you can do is you can tap and drag one of these blocks up here, move it around, and then if you release it, let go, it'll move into place, and then it'll fill in a number here in the middle of the block. And you can see that if we move it over here, it changes numbers. And the reason that number changes is because this number that shows up here depends on two things. Depends on the numbers in these blocks that it rests on, and also on the operation that shows up here at the base of this block. So 9 plus 2 equals 11. And that's why when you've got a plus sign on the bottom, it's going to add the two numbers on these base blocks and put it up here in this block. And what you can also do is you'll notice that on the outside of this block, all around it, there are different signs. You've got multiplication, and these are two subtraction signs. I'm going to show you how that works and by rotating the block. And to rotate a block, you need two fingers, which is a little bit hard to show on the simulator here. But when I've got these two circles, that is simulating two fingers that are hovering above the screen. And what you want to do is you want to select the block with one finger, and then anywhere else in the screen tap down with the second finger, and what that does is it rotates the block around. So now that I've rotated it, and I'll point out that it's a lot easier to do that rotation when you're actually using it on the device rather than trying to make that work in the simulator here, because it's hard to simulate two fingers moving around. But anyway, so you'll notice that now there's a 1 that shows up, and that's because we've got a subtraction symbol here. And also this arrow. This arrow is pointing to the left. And what that means is it's going to take 3 minus 2 and display the result, which is 1. Whereas if we rotate it around a couple more times, the arrow is pointing in the opposite direction. Now it's pointing to the right. So that's going to take 2 minus 3, and it's going to show you a 1 there. And then, so the goal of this game is to fill in this pyramid so that the number at the top is equal to this target number that you see up here. So we're going to try and get -8 at the top of this pyramid, and I think I see a way to do it. And so you'll notice if I release this block anywhere close, then it's going to kind of snap into place. But what you do if you don't want it to set on the pyramid is you just bring it up here, release, and then it'll stay there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this one up here, rotate it around, and again it's kind of tricky to do this rotation on the simulator. So now I've got 2 minus 9 is -7, so then if I add -7 plus -1, I'm going to get -8. And then once you get it right, this alert is going to pop up and tell you, hey, you got it right, good job. And what you can do is if you want to get new numbers on the bottom there, you just hit this new base button. And that will give you not only new numbers in the base blocks, but also a new target number to be searching for. And you can also, for a little bit more of a challenge, you can go to this 4 base block setting, which basically just gives you a larger pyramid. And with one more setting, there's kind of a whole ton more options and a little bit a lot more difficult. So here actually ended up just by chance being pretty close to the target number, got 32, but you're looking for 31. So that's how these two modes work. And then you'll also notice right now I've got this practice that's selected up here. And that means that I have all the time in the world to be able to try and solve this pyramid. But once you get the hang of it in this practice section, you might want to try the game on section. Because when I hit new game, you notice, uh-oh, there's a timer that's starting. So I only have a minute to solve this pyramid. And we'll see if I can do that. I think I see how. The target number here is 9. And I'm just going to do 6 times 1 is 3, 3 times 1, or sorry, 6 times 1 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, 6 plus 3 is 9. Bam, there we go. And you notice at the end of the level, you get 50 points for completing each level, but then there's also a time bonus. So however much time is left on the clock, that is added to your score. And you can see here in the background that my score is now 90, because I got 50 points from completing the level, 40 points for the time bonus, add that up, you get 90. And here, when I hit start level 2, notice that time it started with 55 seconds. So on level 1 you get 60 seconds, but each subsequent level you have 5 seconds left to solve the puzzle. And then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to let the time run down, because what's going to happen is since I have a high score, I'm going to show up on the high scores list. But also while this time is going down, there's this quit button, which asks you again to make sure that you want to quit. But then notice the time is still running, so there's no cheating. To pause it, I am going to choose not to quit, and don't think just throwing these on here isn't going to give me a correct answer. I get pretty close. Looks like, let's see, I could do, I think I see the answer. 6 times 5 is 30, so I could have done 30 minus 10 would give me 20, but uh-oh, I ran out of time. So here's my final score, which is 90, and it's asking me if I want to be on the high scores list. I'm going to go ahead and click yes, and then it brings this up, which allows me to enter my name. And once I do that, hit done, and I show up here on the high points, the high scores list. And there's just two lists here, one for 3 base blocks, one for 4 base blocks, and you can also choose to clear those high scores with that button there, which erases all of the high scores that show up. And yeah, that's this app. I hope you guys find it fun and challenging. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, feel free to leave them below the video here on YouTube or send me an email. Alright guys, until next time.